Are you tired of hitting roadblocks in your dating life? Join me for a free masterclass where I'll be revealing the 3 nice guy dating patterns that turn women off and what you should be doing instead. Unlock the secrets to creating genuine attraction. Click the link in the description to sign up now. This guy asked a question. He says, I dated a girlfriend for 2 years and broke up for 2 months because I was being needy, controlling, upset when she didn't always talk to me. Oh, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You got to get better self-esteem, less anxiety, and be more confident that if she wants to be with you, she will be with you. But continuing, he says, I find her being cold and distant now and falling back into my neediness. Well, yeah, and you know what? If you notice, it's going to be a perpetual cycle. Like, you're needy, so she pulls away. So now you're more needy, so she pulls away more. So you're going to consciously know that the neediness you're displaying is actually pushing her back further. And yet, yes, guys have feelings too. The emotional side of us is like, but I don't know how else to make this work. I got to be around more to let her know that I want her around more. And all that's going to do to the girls be like, he doesn't respect my boundaries. And now he's uber needy. And let me tell you something about neediness, right? For women watch all these like murder documentaries on like Netflix and all these other various Hulus and stuff like that. And all these things start off with the guy was nice and cool. And then maybe one day she couldn't get back to him right away. Or she had like a work thing and she couldn't see him that day. And next thing you know, he's constantly trying to be like, well, where were you? What were you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And all these things end up in these women being unalived. So you could imagine women seeing this, and then they see you starting to display behavior that indicates, oh crap, he's on the same path of neediness that the guy in that murder documentary was. So that's part of why that's not a good strategy. Anyway, he says, how can I handle this moving forward to build our relationship and not be needy? When I mirror, she is upset because I'm playing games, and it's not fair because I love to text her and it's out of character. Oh my God. So this is just because, look, it might not work out with this lady, okay? So I'm gonna tell you for future lessons with women, right? This is why in the beginning, I talk here heavily about the whole texting game because people keep asking me questions about texting. And the one thing that I try to stress is that when I go out on dates, on that first date, I stress to women, I am not a heavy texter. If I don't text them, it doesn't mean I don't like them, but I'm not going to be sporadically hitting them up all the time. I set the expectation early that I'm not a big texter. So that way, when I'm not texting a lot, it doesn't look like I'm playing games. It looks like I'm being consistent in what I set and establish with them at the beginning. You guys like to go to women and text, and then you wonder why she's starting to look suspicious when you stop texting. Even if it's annoying her, even if it's bugging her, there's something about the lack of consistency that's more annoying than you constantly texting her all the time. But if you hadn't been texting her all the time to begin with, then you'd already be consistent by not trying to text her, all right? So this is one of those things that you now have to reestablish you have to establish a new pattern of texting with her. So when you do start to slouch off a bit, she's gonna call you out. Hey guy, you're not texting me as much, blah, 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 blah. You're gonna say, what do you mean? I'm still texting you to take you out on dates and have a good time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, play completely dumb, right? But then just do that over like a week or two, and she will get used to the new pattern of how you're texting. But in terms of right now, honestly, the whole thing of being needy and being desperate and being anxious, it stems from the subconscious belief that you are not actually enough for any woman to want to stick around long-term and to want to really be with you as who you are right now. And so, especially if you've been like, when I was a guy growing up, I didn't have the best dating experience in terms of like, I didn't have a lot of girls I was dating in high school and college because to be fair, I wasn't in a space where I really knew what to do. So I was constantly anxious and nervous. That's why I teach you guys, like, it's not that I'm saying, hey, be more confident as if it's like something I didn't go through. Like I went through all the stuff you're going through right now of like liking women and trying to write them notes and poems and trying to call them up constantly and let them know that I care for them and why won't they talk back to me? And what you'll find is that comes from a place of not feeling that you are enough and that you are feeling insecure and you don't fully get on some level why this woman actually wants to see you. And so that makes you second guess yourself and question things. And here's the thing, if you weren't being so needy, she wouldn't even bring any of this stuff up. Like all the things that are in your head about why she's going to potentially reject you or leave you are things that only you were thinking about. She is not thinking about those. At no time is she expressing those things. But at the point that you get needy, now you know she's expressing, I don't want you around. But she wasn't expressing that before you got needy, right? So you have to really observe, okay, when I wasn't being that needy, desperate guy, what was the response I got? The response I got was she wanted to be around. Okay, great. So now I'm being needy and she's pulling away. So how do you fix that? I found in my personal dating journey, the ways that I was able to do that to get women that I like to come back to me and talk to me was to go away and not be needy. I would stop texting them. I would stop hanging out with them. Like I would stop initiating. I would stop initiating texts, initiating calls. I would stop initiating hangouts, and I would let them come to me. What do I always say on this show, guys? Say it with me now. If she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. So if she's the one texting you, if she's the one calling you, if she's the one asking you for dates, then you can't be rejected and you can't look needy. Now, this isn't to say that you don't have a part in play. Like, obviously, at the point where you guys are back on balance, then yeah, you want to be the one to ask her out. But even then, you should be asking her out once a week versus like every day. You should be initiating texts specifically to get her on a date, not to be extra flirty. And you should only be initiating texts when she initiates first and you're responding to her text. Now, again, at this stage in your neediness, you might be thinking, but if I don't, what? And again, also try to stress that some of the best reactions that you'll get in your dating life are when you're doing inaction. In other words, the other person has a part to play in the actions that are being done to build a relationship. The problem you may be having is that you're trying to think you have to do all the actions. You have to do all the invites. You have to be in her space all the time. But you have to let her come to you. And that's the part where the confidence comes into play. If you've been a guy that up to this point hasn't had the most success with women, it's really hard to think, wait, if I just sit here for a few days and don't reach out to her, she'll actually reach out to me. Like, that's not a thing. And you don't believe it because it's never happened. I'm 42. It has happened extensively to where I know after one or two dates, I lay off texting. I let them text me the hey's, how are yous, emoji, memes, you're so cute, you're so handsome, what are you doing today? And they will do it because women that have a high interest, if they like you a lot, they don't come across guys like that every day. You effectively become the prize that they are not trying to work for. And where you've got it backwards is you have been made to believe by the media that you have to work for her. Your part of the job is asking for dates and showing a good time, paying some money on dates and giving her good experiences, both in public as well as in private, if you know what I mean. But you are doing work. But don't think that just because you're doing work that she has no work to do. You have to leave room and space for her to do work. And that starts with you not appearing so needy. You appearing needy is you doing all the work. You doing all the work makes her feel like you're trying to force her into a relationship. You cannot force women into a relationship. It has to be their idea. If they feel forced into it, then she might agree to it in the short term, but she's going to eventually get bored and or flame out because it's too fast, too soon, all that other stuff, right? So in terms of your situation, I say lay back a bit. Like give it like a week or two where you're not the one reaching out first and then see if your fortunes turn around. And if they do, I'd love to hear from you and you can leave a testimonial about that, all right? But yeah, definitely be more patient and lean back. And God, this is my thing, right? If she said yes to you for a date, if she said yes to you to become your girlfriend for 2 years and she hadn't left up to this point, then that means that as far as she's concerned, you were already enough. But the problem is you don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, everything you're going to project to her is, but I don't believe I'm enough, so you shouldn't either. And she's going to read off your energy and then back away, which is what she's doing now. So I don't care if you got to fake it or if you got to go through some therapy or talk to some guy friends about what you can do to be more confident about yourself, but you need to build that back up because that's the guy that she thought she was getting. She thought she was getting the guy that was really confident in himself, that she could believe in because he believed in himself. And now you're showing yourself not to be that. So on some level, it feels like a lie to her as if you're now a different person altogether. And also it's kind of making her think, but I want that confident guy back. So do what you got to do to get that guy back. You need my help? Go to the website, sign up for coaching, get one of my books, sign up for one of my programs. It extensively goes into all these things that I'm talking about here. So hopefully that helps you out.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man.